Hey, Tom from the Run Testers. In this video, myself and Nick are going to be doing another comparison video. This time we're going to be taking a look at the Asics Novablast 3 and the Nike Invincible 2. Let's take a look. The Asics Novablast 3 costs £135 or $150. It weighs in at 237 grams or 8.4 ounces for men in a size 8, and the drop is 8mm. The Nike Invincible Run Flyknit 2 costs £164.95 or $180. It weighs in at 285 grams or 10.1 ounces for men in a size 8, and the drop is 9mm. The Asics Novablast 3 is a daily running shoe designed to combine plenty of cushioning and comfort with a versatile ride. The latest version sees FF Blast Plus midsole foam added to lower the weight and improve responsiveness. It also features a thin tongue wing construction to improve the fit, a more supportive heel design, a jagged mesh upper for breathability, and an AHAR outsole to improve durability. Featuring the same incredibly soft ZoomX foam that you find in both the Alphafly and the Vaporfly, the Nike ZoomX Invincible Run Flyknit 2 is a shoe that's built for cushioning. But unlike those race options, the midsole in the Invincible 2 is focused on easy miles and daily sessions. You still get a similar bounce and responsiveness to its carbon plate siblings, but now it's used to minimise impact for training sessions in comfort and help you to keep going when your legs get tired. The wide base also ensures that there's plenty of ground contact to increase the stability of the ride. The upper uses Nike's Flyknit design, ensuring a soft, comfortable fit that still holds the foot securely when running, and there's a waffle rubber outsole design to protect the delicate ZoomX midsole as well as add grip and traction. You'll also find new laces in the Invincible Run Flyknit 2, which makes it easier to tie down than the previous version. Okay, so let's just quickly do fit, Nick. How do these two shoes fit for you?
First, I'd like to say that I don't think we should be comparing these shoes at all. They're completely incomparable. But in terms of the fit, both are true to size for me. The Novablast runs a little bit long in the toe box, but actually I think it was fine for me. I'd be happy true to size in both shoes. Yeah, no problems at all.
Yeah, same for me. No issues with the Invincible 2. What I would say about the Novablast 3 is that most people who've sort of tried it on will say that there's a bit of extra space in it and you might possibly want to size down half a size, but it's not the widest of shoes. So some people will then say that by going down half a size, it's made it quite restrictive on the width. So just keep that in mind if you're picking up the Novablast 3.
Yeah, I could have gone half size down in it and it wouldn't have been a problem, but because I've got a narrow foot. But yeah, like you say, it can be a bit of an issue on width. Also say that Tom's holding the Novablast Trail because he's a fool.
Just because I'm going to talk about it in a bit. Okay, Nick, so these two shoes, two cushion shoes. I'm putting cushioned in inverted commas because the Novablast 3 isn't necessarily classed as a cushion shoe, but in reality it is quite a heavily cushioned shoe, so that's why we're comparing it with the Invincible 2. How have these two shoes been on the run for you?
Yeah, I certainly think these shoes are in a similar category. I know Novablast looks like a daily trainer on paper, and lots of people have pitched it as a daily trainer. It's got that, really exciting FF Blast plus foam midsole, but I actually found I didn't think it was that versatile in the end. Like early on, I thought it had a really bouncy, poppy ride, but that deadened out after 20, 30, 40k in the shoe. It just became quite a solid cruiser of a comfortable shoe, and I think it does that job really well. It's a nice shoe to rack up a lot of miles in. I think this midsole will last a long time. It's got a big high stack. It's it is comparable to the Invincible on stack height for sure, and there's a little bit of bounce in there, but I have to say I didn't really like doing fast runs in it. I'm not talking about all-out speed work, even just progression runs where I finish at a steady pace or tempo runs. It can do them, it does them okay, but for me this is a shoe that really excels most as a bouncy cushioned shoe, and it's got more bounce than most shoes out there, it's fair to say. It's got a firmer, more responsive feel than the Invincible. It is a bit, it's not quite as sink in and bounce, it's more just bouncy generally. But one area I think it does struggle with is the outsole, especially out of the box. Out of the box, the first few runs I found it very slick and worrying, but over time I think it just roughed up a little bit, and it does grip reasonably well on wet pavements now. But yeah, I'm not so sure about the outsole, but in general pretty solid cushioned ride. The outsole on your one's a bit better, right? Yeah,
so I'm actually holding the Novablast 3 TR, which is the I wouldn't say a trail version of it. I think that's pushing it a bit far, but it's got an outsole on it that's a little bit more rubberized, which is designed basically for maybe harder compact trails, maybe wetter conditions. But it does make a big difference to that outsole. It's good. It's good outsole on this.
And what about the ride? How do you find the Novablast?
The ride, yeah. So I kind of agree with you. I think when the original Novablast came out, it was a bouncy shoe. The midsole foam was very poppy, and it was very enjoyable to run at speed. But there was that major issue with the original Novablast in that it was very wobbly. It was one of those the wobbliest shoes that I'd ever tested. And then with the Novablast 2, the updated midsole was a lot wider to add more stability, and then it also lost a bit of that bounce, which was good as an overall shoe, but it did mean that it sort of lost a bit of that enjoyment. And I think that is still the same in the Novablast 3. I definitely, when I put the Novablast 3s on, I was thinking, I'm really looking forward to this. This is going to feel like I expect from the Novablast range, but it wasn't as exciting as I remembered, and I think that's probably because it's become more of a daily shoe in the updates of the past two versions than I say daily shoe, a cushion shoe, and it's just not as versatile as it once was.
Yeah, and you it's right saying you used the Novablast that Mike had been using, so it already had a few miles on it. I think you missed that out of the box feeling. They've got everyone raving about this shoe. All the first run reviews of this shoe are really positive, and ours was very glowing. Yeah. Like, I thought it was going to be a fantastic shoe of the year contender, but then it just deadens a little bit, and you didn't get that initial experience. So you probably just had what we had later on. And it's fine. It's a solid enough shoe, but if you're looking pure cushioning, it's interesting actually. I always thought the Novablast, especially the one, was one of the few shoes that could compare to the very unique feel of the Invincible, which is so high and so soft and so bouncy. Now, some people sink in and feel like they get lost in that foam in the ZoomX midsole because it's so high, but I really enjoy it. I think I get loads of bounce back. I've never had a trouble just running in the shoe. It never felt sapping, like it was sapping energy to me. It's always felt really fun, really lively for a cushioned, easy shoe. It's a shoe that definitely makes me look forward to easy runs, and even more than I already do. I always look forward to runs. I'm obsessed with running, but even more so when I'm putting on, a really nice red Invincible shoe that bounces along really merrily. And I have found it reasonably versatile at times. Like when I got the original Invincible, I think one of the first runs out of the box, I think it was like a progression 30k and finishing at a decent pace, and felt it was pretty good at that. Like, it protected the legs so well all along the way. The only slight quibble I have with it sometimes is that when I'm really tired and my legs are a bit knackered, it's not unstable. It's just, and I don't have worries. It's just not as stable as I'd like. Sometimes I prefer a slightly firmer feel underfoot, but overall, it's about as interesting a cushion shoe as I think is on the market right now.
Yeah, I think that ZoomX it was a bit, when we first tested the original Invincible, it was a bit of an experiment and it could have gone any way, but it really paid off because it is one of the most enjoyable shoes to wear when you're going out for those easy runs. And yes, I would agree that it's versatile, but I think one thing that the Invincible 2 misses is that it doesn't really, for me, have much of a rocker, or it doesn't really move you forward very much. What I find with that foam is that it's enjoyable, it helps your legs come up all the time, but the shoe's not trying to make you go faster. So I never try and pick up the pace in this. I only ever use it to going out for those runs where I just want to go like bounce along and enjoy myself. But I don't think it's conducive to running faster, but you maybe can do if you put the effort in yourself. Yeah,
I'd agree with that. Yeah, it doesn't really, there's no anything in the midsole to put you forward. There's no plate, obviously, you have in most ZoomX shoes when you're trying to run fast. And the Novablast is a fair bit lighter, a bit firm. It is a more versatile shoe if you're going to try and use it for running fast. It's just interesting. I think Novablast is one of those rare shoes that runs a bit heavier than it is. It feels a bit bigger on the foot than you want it to when you're running quick. But, if it came to it, absolutely, all out effort, trying to run really fast. Probably Novablast would be the better of these two shoes, but it's actually a bit closer, I think, than many people would suspect. And the other thing which I think was really interesting, this shoe is, given that Nike has released a lot of shoes this year with ZoomX in the midsole, but used recycled ZoomX, and it hasn't really had the feel. It really shows that this is a bit of an outlier, this shoe. It is a very enjoyable shoe to use, and if you're using that fresh ZoomX foam in such a large amount, it's a hard feeling to capture with anything else out there.
Okay, Nick, verdict, hit me.
So on our categorisation of these shoes, which is both of them are cushion shoes, the Invincible is the winner for me. It's the more enjoyable shoe to use. I love just bouncing around in this shoe, especially when I'm feeling fresh and just enjoying myself in the summer vibes. This red thing, you know, it's a lovely shoe to pull on and just bounce around easy runs in. If you are looking for versatility, the Novablast is a bit more versatile. If you insist on classifying this as a daily trainer and do find it good for fast running, then that is something the Invincible doesn't do that well. But I think these are both cushion shoes that only really work well for easy runs, daily training, long runs. And on those, I'd rather be wearing the Invincible. How about you, Tom?
Yes, if we're talking about cushion shoes and you want ultimate cushioning, then I think it's pretty obvious that the Invincible 2 is going to get it. But what I would say about this is that the Invincible is a very, like, on a spectrum of cushion shoes, it's all the way the end of softness, and that's not great for some people. Some people don't want that, and you mentioned a bit of the instability in it as well. And I think it's sort of a polarizing shoe as well, because if it doesn't work for you, you're really not going to like this shoe. Whereas the Novablast, I think, is a little bit more applicable to everyone as a cushion shoe, because it does the job, it's comfortable, it's got a nice little bit of bounce in it, doesn't particularly wow in any way, but I think more people are likely to get on with this shoe than the Invincible 2. But I do think the Invincible 2 is a superior cushion shoe, and for me, definitely would go for the Invincible 2 every time.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. If someone, like a new runner in particular, is coming out, I wanted a nice cushion shoe to protect me from the roads, and actually it is also a bit more versatile. Novablast 3 would be the one I'd suggest. I think it will work for more people. Novablast 1 was probably more comparable to the Invincible in terms of all this, you're going to love or hate this because it's a bit crazy. So they have toned it down and made it more of a applicable shoe. But if you know what you like and you like softness and bounciness, then the Invincible is a very clear pick.
I'd also say the Invincible 2 is a tricky one to have in a rotation, because I like to have a little bit more in my cushion shoes, so that not doing speed training, but I might want to go a little bit faster, or I might want a little bit of versatility in my cushion shoes, a bit of a rocker in it, that sort of thing. And I think the Invincible 2 I only ever use for the days where I just want comfort. So I'd probably end up buying 2 pairs of cushion shoes anyway, because this wouldn't do the job for me for everything I wanted.
Yeah, it's more. Yeah, it would work for me. I think I do a lot of actually easy to steady runs. The Invincible is okay for, it's not fantastic for, but I think I'd like it so much for the pure easy runs that it would be worth having of these two.
That's it from us, but before you shoot off, make sure you subscribe to us to get the latest news on things like road shoes, trail shoes, the latest watches and headphones coming out, as well as loads of other bits and pieces that we post throughout the month. And we've also got our monthly podcast, if that's your vibe. If you go into the caption below, you can find a link to the podcast provider of your choice. And the most recent one of those, if you're listening to this in December, is the awards. So you can find out all of the different products that won our awards for 2022. Thanks a lot for watching. Catch you next time.